based on a true story.
Yeah.
The true story is there was this, father and daughter living in the woods in Portland, Oregon, in a public park, and they got caught. And there was this story that this journalist just kept following, and he was fascinated by it, so he wrote a novel. And the director, the producers bought the novel, and then a couple years later they hired Deborah to direct it. Was the process. I came on after that, so a lot of the bigger thematic things were really not me. I came on a little late in the game on this one. My entry level is different on each movie, but on this one, we read it, they asked us to do it, and we were in Portland the next day, we're like, yes, this is such a good script.
Yeah.
We believed in it.
So do you live in LA, or do you?
We have a place in LA. Tony lives in LA. Nick lives Arizona. He bounces. Case hasn't lived in the same place for a month and years.
Yeah.
But he's from Seattle, so we're kind of gypsies just because every movie's in a different state.
This doesn't come together.
Yeah. Wonder Twins' power is activated. Mr. Lena?
Knowing only the end of the whole process and going to a movie and enjoying it, but it seemed to me that would take that movie took a lot of people to produce, to make it. How many cameramen worked on that? Was that more than just the usual number?
It was one camera, right?
It was one camera, yeah. It was, one DP, one camera the whole time.
So one cinematographer, a first assistant camera, a second assistant camera. So it's really 3 people. And for the aerials, there's a drone, and that's a different person who operates that. For the most part, that was it. A little bit of Steadicam, which is a different person.
So our DP on this, when we were going into the woods, we knew there wouldn't be the space to kind of set up like you normally do with a movie, where you can have like some larger monitors to look at the images. And so he built this backpack for his tiny little second AC to wear, and she trudged all through the wilderness with it, and it had the monitor on it. So he was literally just him with the camera on his shoulder and his first AC pulling focus, and then the second AC with the monitor. So just a pack of 3 people going through the woods with this gang. But every time we'd go through there, I'd run the paths, and we'd put like invisible little, to the camera, you couldn't see like the bright orange flags and the safety stuff that's on the other side of the trees and the ferns, and the ways to like make the woods manageable. So, but our DP did a really great job of being hidden, especially if you feel like it was multiple cameras. That's impressive.
I have a question for the crew here.
Yeah.
Big Country?
Yeah,
what
Big
was your
Country.
favorite experience on the film?
I'd say the crew. It's fun doing travel jobs like this where you go to a new place, you meet, everybody on the crew is new, and then you kind of create a bond. And even now I can say I've got friends all over the U.S. And I drove van on this one, and when you drive van, you get to hear everybody complaining. So you kind of like, you hear all the gossip. And on this one, people weren't really complaining about each other. It's more about the rain and the mud. But it was really cool because we got pretty close with the people in Portland. Became really good friends with them. And so that's kind of my favorite thing.
That's pretty nice, country.
How long did it take in Oregon to film it? And then also, how long did it take in New York?
So it's roughly 25 days of filming.
But that works out to about 4 months there because of
prep.
your prep before you film. So you're getting ready because everything is being prepared before you shoot a movie. It's about 4 months, and then 5, 6 months.
I think less because we had no money.
Oh,
it was
yeah,
like 3 to 4 months of post in New York. And that's where Deborah lived, so she worked at home doing the editing. So a couple hands over here.
I found it thematically like the Inferno, Purgatorio, and Paradiso, right? Living in the woods by yourself is kind of hellish. then you have to walk a very long distance to get through purgatory, and you end up in paradise at the end. And I wondered, did any of you see a deeper thematic, secondary meaning there? I want, like, the dad is like Virgil, I guess, so
Right.
Aeneid almost too.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Case Barden?
Yeah, I was about to say, this sounds like a case question.
Oh, talking
Case
about
those
like the
themes.
pastoral themes of
Yes.
the movie.
Mm.
I mean, that is kind of a work. I mean, if you're specifically referring to like the Aeneid in this kind of situation, it's just the basic rundown of the Aeneid, or at least a major component of it, is like there's two shepherds in Rome, and after this major victory, Rome, the emperor wanted to pay his soldiers by giving them land, so all these landowners or previous landowners had to go to the city of Rome to be able to keep their land. And so like these two shepherds, one didn't go because he hates Rome and he loses his property, and the one has to go through this, goes to Rome and goes through this bureaucracy to be able to keep his land. And so I mean, I can see definitely like some resemblance of that in the story, where it's like he thinks he has his paradise that's under control, but it's definitely not for his daughter, where it's like she's coming from a very different place and she needs to have her own life. And like that's definitely the struggle of the movie, is realizing that they're becoming two different people instead of this codependent unit. So it's like I can definitely see it being his paradise but not hers, and hers realizing that. And so she realized maybe like her youth was more hell, and then she finds like what is comfortable and more real for her.
Jeremy, confirmed or unconfirmed?
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Is there another one there?
What was the first scene you guys shot?
Ooh.
Trick question.
Wait, no, I think
We're in the woods.
we were definitely in the woods. We did everything outside first. So before we went to the horse farm, before we went to the
We're on the
Christmas
trail, I
tree
remember, because that
farm.
was when Ben Foster showed up and had like 5 real knives, and we're like, whoa, what are you doing with these real knives? And there was a ruckus, and he's like, I'm gonna do what I want. We're like, oh, here we go. So it was in the woods. I remember that, because Linda got shut down when she asked him to put him away. Yeah.
Ooh, and the dog in the beginning, Grim, is an actual police dog when they're going. So usually we hire movie dogs, but we knew it was a really specific action that the dog would need to do. And so he was taught that, but the cool thing on the day was that Ben actually dropped a bunch of his knives and stuff into the ferns and the woods, and we couldn't find them. And our whole crew starts walking through because we can't move on until we get the props back. So we're going through the woods, and the officer comes over to me and he was like, you know this is what this dog does for a living, right? I was like, oh my God, that's right. And he literally was like, if you're cool with it, he can sniff Ben's clothes and then go get, you know, the knives. And so he does that, lets him off the leash, and the dog just went exactly to the props and picked him up, and we could like carry on. But it's a cool moment with
I have another
a true
question.
working dog.
Sorry, another question for the panel. 200 Ruiz, what was it like working with Ben Foster?
Ben Foster's great. He's kind of intense in a way. He's very much a method actor.
They acted in a scene together, just the two of them, for a whole day. Even though it's not in the movie, it's been the director's cut, but Tony got to act with them for a long period.
And leading up, I mean, I had heard that he was a method actor and he gets very into his role. As a matter of fact, I believe that, didn't they set up camp in their house while they were staying
Yep.
there or something?
Yeah.
Like, he's so into it. And so I was a little intimidated about it. The scene that I was in was, I was just one of the truck drivers when he was trying to get a ride. We had a good little scene together, I thought. And I mean, next thing I know, like, we're buddies, we're hanging out. We took some I gave him one of my t-shirts and we took some photos, and he was just great to work with. It wasn't what I was expecting. I was expecting this very intense thing, and he was able to kind of like come out of that role a little bit and still be like kind of a normal person and then get right back into it. And that was, to me, it was just amazing. He's really talented. I think that the scenes that he did with showing the PTSD, the way he did, I think was a really subtle thing. Tom's role is amazing, and she's probably going to get a lot more accolades than what Ben did on this. But I think he did a great job on this, and I'm thankful that I had the opportunity to do it.
And Tony is a Navy vet, so Tony,
Boom.
yeah.
Dad, did you have any questions?
was there any scenes that got cut that you didn't expect would get cut?
Well,
Mine.
there was actually a lot of, we did a lot of work with horses because horses are a big part of rehab or just with part of PTSD and anxiety. Working with animals helps a lot. And we did a lot of work with horses that Ben did, and 90% of it got cut. It just was a creative choice, but it was great to film. And
It was some of the most fun we had on set because it was exciting to work with horses in that way. But
yeah, it was great to film. We were bummed it was cut.
we shot a lot of stuff, and I think you saw it's still a pretty long movie, so it can't all make it in the cut. So
Barry, how are we doing on time? We good? A couple more?
I'd say about another 5 minutes.
I feel
All
like
right.
we've been here for
Herb?
a couple of hours.
I was going through it down to important papers in a plastic bag.
Oh, this is specific.
It showed a newspaper clipping about some suicide or something. Did that have to do with their mom or something? Or?
It's his unit, wasn't
In
it?
the yeah, no, those were
Yeah.
other vets. Yeah, that was from his unit. So when he goes to meet the guys in the camp. Oh no! Oh! You're talking about when the social worker goes into the house and takes the bag. Yeah.
She was going through those papers. It showed a suicide or some kind of newspaper clip.
I think it's basically everything he's kept in his life was in that bag. So kind of like that was
Part of his unit.
Yeah.
His
The
wife.
her baby teeth were in there.
baby
Yeah.
teeth. Yeah, the baby teeth. Anything important.
Jane Cohen?
One bag.
I actually had that same question.
And Catherine, nice work. Catherine, you're gonna be in our next movie?
I took it that, about that article, that she then got worried about her father. I mean, maybe she would have been worried anyway, but it can't, almost like realizing that suicide was, and she probably.
Possible.
That's how I
Yeah.
thought it might be, you know, that she then went out looking for him and.
Right,
was
she's
worried
afraid
about
it might happen to her dad.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Chris Russell? Oh.
Yes.
Did I see your hand?
Nope.
Is the 500 question questionnaire a real thing? That auto voice headset questionnaire?
Actually,
is that a real
yes.
thing?
Yes, and that's a bummer, huh? Yeah, it's just an automated
Stress.
system that's real.
Is it specific to Washington State, or does it happen everywhere in the country?
Well, it was in Oregon, but I don't know.
Oregon, that's at the point where they're in Oregon?
It was,
I thought
yeah,
it
it
was
was-
still in Washington.
It was specific
Oh
to,
yeah, they went to Washington State.
yeah, it was specific to the area we were shooting in, but because, again, Deborah's a documentarian, she really wanted everything to be real. But that was something that really, yeah,
It was real.
I noted that as well.
It
It's
just
kind of
kinda-
upsetting.
Yeah, just robotic and inhumane and.
And
is it
out of
really
his
helping?
control.
And
Yeah.
yeah, it's supposed to be like determining your depression, but it
Yeah.
seems like it'd be causing.
What makes it
Terrible
worse?
questions. Exactly.
Oh,
So many
the
questions.
badass shirt up there.
Chris, what made the people in charge seek you out to be a producer on this particular film? What is it about yourself or your work that led them to you to do this?
Everyone else said no.
Chris is known, I mean, he's got this incredible reputation in our industry.
Because I'll say
as-
yes to anything.
No. As one of the most straightforward, honest line producers in the business, which is really hard to come by because a lot of people blow the budget and keep working over and over, and he's never blown a budget in his life. And people just see him as a really genuine person. So I'll let him answer, but I know that that is usually why people approach him specifically because of the trust factor.
Trust factor because of budget?
Yeah, but budget, but also knowing you're gonna make when you film. I mean, just the films that we've made in the past 6 years have all gone to Sundance and Cannes and won awards and everything. But I think he's got a great record for both that and staying on budget and being an honest person.
And also, if you look at my resume, it's probably over 20 of the 30 movies I've done are kind of sad and depressing and quiet. So if it's sad, depressing, and quiet, and you don't have enough money, call me.
This might be the lightest film you've ever done.
This is
This is like the happy one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also, if I can interject as well, is that I think that he does go for content. He will turn down a lot of shows, and so knowing him over the years, working with him for as long as we have together, I trust him 100% on the work. Sometimes for me it's just the work. I'll take a job even if I know it's not good because I need to feed myself. But I know with him it's going to be something that's going to make you think, and it's something that's worth watching, even if it's not upbeat or whatever. And I think that has to translate that he can do these movies and they're going to come out the way they're supposed to without the big Hollywood twist or whatever. He does the movies that are about content, and I think that's a big deal.
Thanks, guys.
Beautifully said. Yeah.
So what does a line producer do?
I try not to spend more money than we have.
The word line producer comes from like the line items in the budget.
Oh.
Right, so
oh,
like if
okay.
you had animals in the budget, then it's like the animal costs this, the wrangler costs this, the handler and the SPCA are all lined out as like what every cost is. And so usually the line producer is the person who knows 100% of every single line item. So when someone says, what is how many days do I have a van for if I'm driving, then he knows the exact number of what that means, or what
Or I make the time.
or what do the bees cost, yeah.
And just everybody, we're gonna be in the lobby after this. Anybody who wants to talk longer and ask all these guys questions, you should. We'll get a beer out there and we can talk, but there's another screening, so I think we gotta go. And everybody should get a membership, like Angie and Barry says.
Support indie films.
Yeah, you guys stay there for
And
me.
get a picture with Louie if you want.
Okay, ready?
Hold on.
1, 2, 3. Would you mind getting on
You're getting hugged, buddy.
Most of you are losing a light though.
That's alright, that's alright. We'll still have light. Okay. That's okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Slim Jim's sleeping.
Come on, kid.
Lick him out.
3, 2, cheese it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
You sir?
I love that Louie needed to go to you and there was the Q&A. He was like, you know what, I need to sit with Nick.
We're really